Mr. Speaker,
before we resume, can I just perhaps pose two questions to members? Who is the most important teacher in our child's lives? And where is the most important school? I think systems, structures, processes are important, but I think it's useful to think about what the answers to those questions might be. Ms. Thana?
Mr. Speaker, sir, I strongly support this motion. Education is the key enabler to unleashing potential and poverty. It is a key to gaining more knowledge, and it is a key to staying relevant and future-ready. The motion on education is a broad topic. I just wish to speak on something that is close to my heart, which is the adult learning and lifelong learning. Continuous skills upgrading and learning are paramount for us to keep abreast of the changes that are happening in the fast-changing world. The Skills Future Credit was introduced to encourage Singaporeans to learn new skills, new knowledge. Some use it for higher learning programs and some others for new skills. As of 1st February 2018, 285,000 Singaporeans have used their Skills Future credits. However, more awareness needs to be created about the use of this credit. Additionally, there must be 3 flags for lifelong learning to be successful. Flex time, flex place, and flex learning would further encourage Singaporeans to embrace lifelong learning more readily. Age is just a number. What is important is a tenacity to be open-minded, be adaptable to unlearn and relearn new knowledge and skill sets. There should be co-ownership between employers and employees and interns to train and learn so that employers can retain skilled people in the workforce. Employees must be open to training and upgrading their skills and knowledge. Employees should give these employees opportunities to go for training so as to upskill themselves. More online learning courses can be made available to allow for flexibility in learning. The winning formula to continuous and lifelong learning is mindset change by all 3 parties. Employers must be receptive to training young people through effective collaboration with Institute of Higher Learning and increase the rate of place and train for students, interns and employees. Employees too must be receptive to the notion of learning while working and with attaining a skill qualification or equivalent skills. Government too must change its mindset towards definition of training and learning. In today's time and age, learning is multifaceted and the mode of learning is multi-pronged. It need not be purely classroom training of a defined hours, but rather a composite type of training which includes classroom, on-the-job training, application-based learning, e-learning, and in some cases, virtual reality too can be used. Skills Future Singapore too must transform to meet the needs of today's industry and training relevance. The ideal is to have WSQ program for skill-based training. However, if the regulatory and policy process becomes an impediment to making a relevant customized program nationally recognized, then we have a challenge of persuading both young and matured to go for training recognized only within the company. Skill sets must be transferable even though these can be customized. We need to be agile and yet develop programs to fit the need of industries of not only today but for the future. The question of how fast do the institutes of higher learning developing programs that is relevant for the future as identified by Economic Development Board, which brings in new investment, remains to be seen. For instance, in the green energy industry sector, have we trained adequate number of cohorts to fit this industry under the Place and Train program, if we find that this will be the future-ready skill that is required now? If data analytics and AI is what that is expected of future industry, future workforce, how ready are we developing our own skilled workforce? Can the institutes of higher learning turn this around to suit the need of the future fast enough? Singapore education system is among the most highly regarded in the world, but it also a very stressful one for the students and young people. We are the top performing countries in science, maths and reading in a 2015 study by the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. It also suggested they scored higher on test anxiety. Adult literacy rate of Singapore increased from 92.5% in 2000 to 96.8% in 2015, with annual growth rate of 0.75%. This rate is for a population of 15 and above of age who can, with understanding, read and write simple statements in their everyday life. Such achievements are commendable, but it has to translate into better life for Singaporeans. It is indeed heartening to note the Education Minister, Ong Ye Kung's comment in the recent Straits Times interview. I quote, "Singapore's compass for the education system points towards two things: preparing the young for the future and ensuring that education continues to be an uplifting and integrating force in society," unquote. In other words, education is a social leveler. In his interview with Straits Times, he also, with pragmatism, said a prime minister without a degree can happen not too far off in the future, as there's nothing inherent in a minister's job that requires a degree. His comments provide a new hope and a beginning of a new dawn to those who have missed out on their formal education route. He further stressed that Singaporeans should not narrow their opportunities by chasing only after paper qualification and pursuing academic excellence, such as going to university. There are many pathways to achieving success, and success is defined as what one sees as success. He further said, I quote, "Education has been and will continue to be an uplifting and integrating force in society," unquote. I applaud Mr. Ong, being a proponent of aptitude-based selection process, for his bold move to introduce aptitude-based admissions and lifelong opportunities in an increasingly diverse higher education landscape during his time as Education Minister, Higher Education and Skills. It is important not to place overemphasis on academic achievement, but on skills and talents. We must embrace diversity of skills and talents, each of which combine to form a successful Singapore, since human resource is our only available critical asset and brain power is our gift. Mindset change is important. Employers should not recruit based on paper qualification alone, but to look at other skill sets relevant to the job. Many employers are still taking examination grades as proxy to a potential employee doing well at work. This is a fallacy. More should be done to change this. Education should not be exclusive to a few, but inclusive social levelers. We must transform the way we teach and the way we learn and discover new things. For continuous learning and lifelong learning to be successful, there must be conversation with adult learners and working people, as many are attending part-time classes to attain paper qualification. For skills to be truly recognized across Singapore, we must ensure public service, government agencies and State Board revamp its recruitment methods to provide greater emphasis to attitude and skills with less focus on paper qualification. In fact, some private sectors are more inclined to recruit an applicant based on skill set, and this is indeed commendable. The thinking of Singaporeans too must change. Recently, I met with a union member who asked, if I do part-time studies, will I receive additional increment or job promotion once I pass or graduate from this program? This is a natural reaction to anyone who wants to upgrade him or herself. For lifelong learning to really succeed, one must erase the notion of establish reward first, then train. But learn and train for the love of learning and staying relevant. As defined, lifelong learning is the ongoing, voluntary and self-motivated pursuit of knowledge for either personal or professional reasons. There must be a national lifelong learning movement across Singapore. This can be done with Singapore Conversation. In summary, learning must be enjoyable, interesting, flexible and innovative so as to capture the attention of both the young and old. We can catalyze a love for lifelong learning by forming a community of learners and a lifelong learning movement, especially when a person transits from school to workplace, and this has to be seamless. Mindset change is an important ingredient to the recipe of recognizing skills and aptitudes instead of paper qualification. Education itself must be inclusive and be deemed as a social leveler to break the cycle of poverty. So with this, I support the motion. Thank you.